Hi there everyone and welcome to this episode of iRacing. This is Neil Williams of Team VVV and we're going to be covering my fourth race in my iRacing career, still at Laguna Seca. But before we do that, what we'll do is just have a quick look at one of the menu screens. Just a quick reminder on the Race Now tab that you don't have to just race, you can also qualify, do a time trial or practice. I'd say qualifying is quite important because that decides your grid positions, obviously. But what happens is you do a 20-minute session, you go out, you do a lap, you do your fastest lap, and then that'll decide the grid order. So you don't have to qualify for each race, you just do your one qualifying session. And if you think you can improve, you can always go back and do more qualifying sessions. Okay, so here we are at the fourth race, just lining up on the grid. You can see all the cars appearing there. I think there's about 10 of us all together. So there's 10 cars in this race altogether, getting ready for the lights. And the lights will go off soon. There we go. So we're off, we're away, and you can see I've made a good start there. So just keeping ahead of the rest of the pack and going down to the Andretti hairpin. This is a very quiet race. There's unfortunately not much happened in this race. You'll see as we go along. I think, just in the beginning, going around the Andretti hairpin there, you can see the guy in second place, the driver in second place. He's keeping quite close to me there. So I'll stay under pressure from him for a little while as we go around the first lap there. Not many corners on this track are named, as I said before, and I think the biggest thing that I realized from the previous races was steering input really matters in the simulator. So just have to be nice and smooth with the steering input. Try not to scrub the tires too much, especially under braking. If you're scrubbing the tires and you're putting too much turning input into the car, then it's quite easy for the back end to step around. So just be careful with that. Just be nice and smooth. As you can see, they're just trying to keep a nice smooth line. The two of us there just breaking away from the rest of the pack already. This wasn't the strongest group. There's probably a lot of quite a few first timers or a few people having their first few races here. So you can see already the gaps really open up quite a lot on the rest of the pack. So just leading there, second place driver. There's quite a small gap so far. There's only a few tenths in it, maybe 4 tenths or so. So just under pressure from him for the moment. And as we go around, and as I said, most of the corners on this track, you only need to use third gear. This is the only corner on the track where you have to use second gear. So the rest of the corners will be third gear, including the Andretti hairpin that's coming up. So as we come around to complete the first lap there, and you come down to the Andretti hairpin in around 180 kilometers an hour, fifth gear, and then you brake and then change down. And the thing with iRacing is that you have to get used to is the fact that some cars have ABS, some don't. This one doesn't have ABS, so you have to modulate your brakes quite a lot. You can use trail braking quite a lot in this car as well. So that's one thing that's good about it. It doesn't spin out easily if you use your trail braking in it. So yeah, use your trail braking. As you see there, the second place driver just spinning off into the wall, and that's probably the end of his race, unfortunately, only on the second lap. So yeah, just coming around the corkscrew there, the infamous corkscrew down to the rainy curve. This left-hander here, quite tricky. The car gets quite light and it picks up quite a lot of speed very quickly. So just try to be smooth through there. Very easy to spin the car off, as you see there, just clipping the curbs. Sometimes in this position as well, where you're leading a race by quite a long way, you just have to take it fairly easy, because in this situation, you've probably got less adrenaline flowing. Your concentration's not as high as when you've got cars around you and you're battling all the other cars. So you just need to be careful, because you can actually defeat yourself in these situations. Very easy to spin off and hit a wall or something like that. So just be smooth. If you find you're in a situation in a race where you've pulled a nice big gap, don't try and push it too hard. Just maintain your gap and until the rest of the race. As you can see, the second place driver is not even in shot. you know, it's important just to keep your lines nice and smooth. In this situation, you can also work on your consistency. It doesn't have to be a fast pace at all. You just need to work on that consistency. Make sure you're getting those lines right. Make sure you're getting those braking points right. The gear changes as well. As I said, iRacing is a simulator. It's not a game. It's not just a game. So it tries to replicate the cars to their real life form as much as possible. And so one of the other things that you need to consider is the fact that you use the clutch in cars like this. So I mean that I've taken the auto blip off and auto clutch off, so I'm not using any of the assists. So just make sure that the timing is right on the upshifts. So you use the clutch on the upshifts, and then on the downshifts you just need to blip the throttle and then change down. But you need to make sure your timing on the throttle blip and the gear change are very, very good. So this is the last lap. As I said, it was a very quiet race, slightly hollow feeling to this victory. So this car, well, we're coming around now to the final, well, around the final corner onto the straight for the final time. And that's my fourth race. So I've won my fourth race, first win in iRacing. And that's pretty much it for me from now. But yeah, please stay tuned in future, and we'll bring you more races. The cup races as well as random races as well. And thank you all very much, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye.